Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Alina if you're new here, and I make videos around productivity, lifestyle, vlogs, etc, just anything that I can think of. And today I want to tell you a little bit about waking up early and becoming an early bird. Waking up early is one of the most prominent things that you come across in the productivity and studying all of that area of the internet, where people are like, millionaires wake up at 5 and billionaires wake up at 5, the top students wake up at 5. So I feel like either people get this idea of, oh, I have to wake up at 5, or they get this idea of, oh, these people are successful because they're an early bird, and I am not an early bird. I just like to sleep in, and I like to sleep at 2 a.m., so I'm not going to succeed at all. And I think both of these are completely wrong, so let's just get into it. So let's start with a disclaimer first. If you want to wake up earlier, or at 5 a.m., or at 4 a.m. even, just because your favorite YouTuber told you so, or that millionaires are doing that, Bill Gates is waking up at 5 a.m., you will fail. Because even if you wake up at 3 a.m., if you have no goal to work towards, if you have no reason to wake up that early, you might as well just sit around and try to focus and fail at it and just waste all of that time. And instead, I will just suggest that you sleep and wake up at 8 a.m. instead. And it can be even more beneficial and more productive because you're not tired the entire day. Therefore, first thing that I want you to do is to figure out your why. Here, I want you to pick one thing. To be honest, I feel like it's the most productive thing to do. So for example, this could be studying, this could be a hobby or a side hustle that you want to work on, or it could be even an hour or two that you want to spend with yourself, maybe an hour of intense workout before you go to work, just anything. So when you figure out your why, I want you to pick 1 to 3 things that you want to do that day around those 2 to 3 hours, or however many that you are going to be saving by waking up earlier. Here, I want these 1 to 3 things to be specific to your why. So if it was studying, it will be something like revising a chapter of math, then maybe doing your homework or working on an essay or an assignment, all of that stuff. And again, be specific and do not squeeze in too much. I feel like people tend to do that because it's like, oh, if I wake up at 5 a.m., I can get through so much stuff. But especially if you're new, you need a few days to get used to it. And so don't do that. Try to pick important and specific stuff that you can actually for sure complete in those hours. The second thing I need you to do is to learn about sleep. Investigate how sleep works, how circadian rhythms work, and how deep you sleep, etc. And if you have one of these smartwatches, you can track your sleep, and I think it's one of the best features that they have. So for example, going to sleep at 10 p.m. and then waking up at 6 a.m. doesn't really mean that you slept all those 8 hours. You have deep sleep and phases of sleep and your circadian rhythm, all of that stuff. And everyone needs a different amount of sleep. I might need 7 hours and you might need 9 hours. So investigate and try to listen to yourself and how you feel. And you can even keep a little journal that you log in your sleep hours, how well you've slept, all of that stuff. So learn about sleep, both in terms of science, but also in terms of how you sleep and how much you need of it. Another thing that I want to mention here very quickly is that summer is the absolute best time to try and get used to being an early bird. Most people, I feel like, try to fix their sleep schedule like a week or a day even before school or work starts, or in the beginning of January when it's dark and gloomy and sad and wintry. So I feel like it doesn't really stick. But in the summer, you have the sun rising so much earlier, it's much brighter, there are birds chirping around, and it's generally warmer as well. And if it's cold outside, you're going to get really cold and you want to warm up. And if you do warm up, you're going to get even more tired and all of that stuff. So summer is the best time. I feel like if you see this in June, July, August, definitely try to do it as soon as possible, because you also need to take into consideration that you will need a little bit of time to get used to this habit. So now let's prepare your environment for sleep. First off, a clean space. I feel like I say this in every video, but for sleep, you kind of also need focus. So, a clean and organized space, I feel like it really helps me. So, try and consider that. Secondly, get off your screens. Why is that? That is because your body has its own clock. There's this cute little gland in your brain called the pineal gland. What does that do? It releases melatonin with the lack of light. So, what do you do to stimulate that? You keep low and warm lights around your room and around your house if possible. I try to get rid of all these bright lights around my room. So, try that. And that means get off your screen as well. Remove all of those things. And personally, I try to read something that is just a little boring but interesting enough to keep reading. It really helps you get off those screens as well. So, read a physical book. Yeah, read a physical book while we're at it, not a digital one, or you can read on your Kindle. Outside of that, you need to use something that will make your room as dark as possible. It could be blinds if you have them, or it could also be one of those darkening night curtain things. But personally, the easiest and fastest and probably the cheapest thing to do is to get a sleeping mask. Very cheap again and very easy to get. What will this do? It will keep random light and also light from outside to get into your room. You can also even use earplugs if you are sensitive to noise. I feel like many of us in this sphere or in this journey focus on the completely wrong thing, like the wake up time. So, what I want you to do is pick an ideal time for you to wake up. You want to wake up at 6 a.m., and you know, because you investigated, that you will need 7.5 hours of sleep to feel energized and not at all tired in the morning. We will go back 7.5 hours from 6 a.m., which will be 10:30. The gist here is that I want you to add one more hour to that. So it will be 9:30, and I want you to be in bed by 9:30 instead. So now you will have time to read or even dwell on your thoughts, or maybe personally, I like doing my to-do lists and stuff in this time. And what this will do is just actually put you in this mood of sleep. And by doing that, you're also ensuring that you will get enough sleep, because you really need to take into account the time that you need to actually fall asleep. Personally, it takes me a long time to fall asleep, so I'm trying to fill this gap with low effort, low energy things that I can do without waking myself up too much. To prepare for yourself to wake up in the morning, put your phone a few meters away from your bed. Sometimes I fail to do that as well, but we try. And I feel like most people think that it's because I shouldn't go on my phone when I'm sleeping. But yes, you shouldn't. But also, we're also preparing for the morning when you are trying to wake up and you don't really have the easy opportunity to just snooze and sleep. Set a different alarm than the default one. I realized way too late that the default Apple alarm really made me feel like a veteran feeling war flashbacks as soon as I wake up. It's so jarring and annoying. And I feel like it also reminds you of an alarm, because even in memes and stuff, you hear the iPhone alarms. You can change your alarm to one of the different ones that they offer, but also an instrumental that you like, or even your favorite song. People don't really like that idea, but waking up with music is really fun. Sometimes my mom, when she wants me to wake up earlier, she will play a playlist of my favorite songs, and I'll literally wake up listening to them, and it will make me motivated to get up. So, and of course, you will wake up in such a better mood. Secondly, as soon as you get up, I need you to open your windows as wide as you possibly can, and you need to let that fresh air in. If you have a balcony, I need you to step outside and feel that fresh air for a minute or two. Just take in deep breaths and look around. And if you do this in the morning, as I said, you will see the sun, hopefully, if you don't live in Sweden in these gloomy days, and you will hear the birds. It's going to be so much better. Why do we do this? It's because the chilly air and the bright light is going to wake you up no matter what. The second thing that I want you to do is to wash your face as soon as possible. Like, run to the bathroom and wash your face, preferably with colder water, and it is going to wake you up. I'm a person who never drinks coffee. I feel like I drink coffee out of obligation mostly, once or twice a year. I still wake up earlier and I just take no coffee. So it is possible. Just wash your face. I feel like it's even more effective than drinking coffee as soon as you wake up, which I just don't get. This might be controversial, but I feel like using your phone in the morning as soon as you wake up is much better than using it before you sleep. So, as we all know, if you use your phone in the night, you're going to have a harder time to sleep. Why is that? Because being on your phone wakes you up. It's another source of light that is going to tell your brain to wake up. And personally, I feel like if you get out of your bed and sit somewhere, like maybe outside in the balcony or even your garden or in front of your window for like 5-10 minutes, you're going to wake up better. I feel like I do this pretty much all the time, and I still feel productive afterwards and I'm not at all tired. Actually, again, repeating, I feel like I'm much more awake after I've been on my phone for like 5-10 minutes. Personally, I set an alarm like 10 minutes before I should wake up. Like if I'm going to wake up at 6:30, I wake up at 6:15 and I just go on my phone a bit. It really wakes me up. Then you're going to eat a good breakfast. Why is that? It's because you need energy, and I don't want you to just drink coffee on an empty stomach and feel really weird drops and highs and lows of energy. And lastly, in this category, I want you to not fill your morning with an extensive morning routine like a cold shower and 5 hours of journaling and all that stuff. You don't need that. You don't need that. You're trying to wake up earlier, and I think that's one of the best habits that you can have. It makes you feel like you lived 2 days in one. At least I feel this way. Like, you don't need to run a 5K to start your day right. Just doing these things like opening your windows and washing your face and doing your skincare and just maybe stretching for 5 minutes is just going to be enough to start your day. If you're dwelling on what you should do and all these random productive activities that you're just doing for the sake of doing and for the sake of having done them, you'll fail and you'll waste your time. So don't do that. Just do your essentials in those, like, preferably 30 minutes, and be done with it. Like, you don't need that extensive morning routine, so get rid of it. Another thing here is to make your to-do list the day before. I feel like everyone says this, but there is a reason why everyone is saying this. Okay, it makes you so much more prepared, because I feel like you're telling your brain that you have these important things to do tomorrow, and when you wake up earlier, just dealing with the tiredness, you don't have to think about what you should be doing, and you will not waste your time this way. So this isn't really related to waking up early, but I need you to use power naps to your advantage. What are power naps? Power naps are these 15 to 20, 25 max minute naps that you take to just regain energy. You can take these quick little naps anywhere, anytime, and trust me, it is going to give you so much energy because you're sleeping just enough before you enter the deep sleep stage. Again, learn about sleep. It's going to help you so much. And you're going to gain so much energy with these power naps. There's something also called coffee naps, but I like to call them espresso naps because it sounds fancier. So what you do is that you drink a quick cup of coffee right before your nap, and then you take your nap, and your body will pretty much wake itself up because the caffeine is just starting to work on you by the time that you should be waking up before entering the deep sleep stage. So you will be feeling this natural urge to wake up, and you're going to feel even more energy. Isn't that so cool? Because you also slept, you will be having an easier time and less of an energy drop after the caffeine wears off. Lastly, as a note, I want you to be patient. This can take time. It can take a week, it can take 2 weeks, it can take a month. And I feel like this depends on how messed up your sleep schedule is as of now, but there's always hope. And you can always become an early bird. You can always naturally enter that stage of waking up at whichever time you want to wake up. And I believe in you. You can do this. And again, summer is the best time. So do it right this moment.